last night, X was celebrating as Jimmy Kimmel finally got canceled by ABC over his nasty statement of Charlie Kirk, the lie that a MAGA guy was one of the killers there. Absolutely crazy that he'd go out with that. And you could tell just if you watch that video, his just vicious tone. He's a hateful, spiteful individual, and he always has been. It's something that has been permeating late-night television for a long, long time. These leftists like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert have been out there, of course, spreading hate against Republicans and against conservatives for a long, long time. It's been completely unfettered, right? And so with this, we now see that there is a cultural tide shift. And look, Disney didn't do this. ABC didn't do this just on a lark. They looked at it and they saw that his ratings were crap and nobody's watching this stuff anyway. Let's be honest. We know this is a corporation that really doesn't have values. It's Disney, after all. It's really, really funny, though, but the left has started a boycott, and the celebrities out there are going absolutely crazy over this, talking about fascism and no free speech in this country. I'm really, really enjoying what's happening this morning and watching also as the boycott is failing, and we'll give you that information in just a moment. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us as we talk about all things in the culture here. I was one of the original canceled science fiction authors back in the day when World Science Fiction Convention, they called me a racist bully because I make YouTube videos like this talking about how the left is completely unhinged. And, turnabout's fair play in this. And I honestly hope that all of these leftist corporate establishments get completely gutted through this entire thing. This is what I've been wanting for years, and it's finally happening. And it's crazy that it's happening over Charlie Kirk, of all things, but it is where the chips have fallen on this. So the Disney company paused Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely after he lied to his viewers about the Charlie Kirk assassin. He said, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize the kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it." Well, this is what he's done. He's always tried to score political points from this stuff. And by the way, if you feel bad for him, when Donald Trump got his Twitter account removed because they tried to silence everybody, you want to talk, they real silencing on social media back in the day, which Elon's not done with people like Hassan Piker and the like, by the way. You see this, and he was celebrating Donald Trump getting deplatformed and was hoping for all this. Very, very funny. Like I said, turnabout is very fair play in this, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. By the time the episode aired, Utah Governor Spencer Caucus had already indicated that the Kirk suspected assassin Tyler Robinson had leftist ideology, and he said there was clearly leftist ideology within this assassin. He had informed the NBC News, "We do know that the roommate that we originally talked about is a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, so we know that piece." Furthermore, authorities had also shared inscriptions on the bullet casings, which we knew what those were all saying at the time as well. So Kimmel knew all this. When he came in on Monday, this is way past the information time. He went out there and completely lied about this to try to create a narrative. And he tried to create a narrative out of hate for conservatives, as he usually does. And at this point, people are fed up with this. They're not tolerating it anymore. It's completely over. They can't do this type of thing anymore. Now, over on X, when they started boycotting Disney, and it's very, very funny stuff. You can see right here, conservatives watching libs starting a boycott of Disney. Very funny stuff. We did it, guys. We got the crazy left to boycott ABC and Disney. That will teach us a lesson. This is Joe, who's an influencer account that's a Democrat Shill activist right there saying, boycott everything affiliated with ABC and Disney. Pass it on. We have another one. Boycott Disney? Your terms are acceptable. Very, very funny. Battlefield 6 designer, Grum says, joins many on Blue Sky to boycott Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN over the decision to cancel Jimmy Kimmel's show and instead host a tribute to Charlie Kirk. And they called the Trump administration fascism on this. He worked on Dragon Age because, of course, he did. And, of course, more people laughing about this. They're going to boycott Disney now. You see all these blue check accounts here. Brooklyn Dad Defiance, one of those leftist influencers as well. Disney's pulling the Jimmy Kimmel show indefinitely because he made comments about Charlie Kirk, bending the knee to fascism again. F you, Disney cowards. I stand with Jimmy Kimmel. We got boycott alert, boycott Disney, boycott Nexstar, boycott their advertisers, hit them where it hurts, and boycott Disney, cancel Hulu. Now, the reason they talk about Nexstar is Nexstar was actually talking about pulling advertising from this. This is probably more what led to it because that's a direct hit to Disney's bottom line on this. And if they don't have a sponsor for the show that's not going to actually pay for the show, Disney's not going to just foot that bill because obviously it's not making money for them. It's doing quite the opposite at that level. It would be a money loss at that point. There's no choice but to just not have the show know unless there is a sponsor who's going to go out there and do that. Very, very obvious consequence culture here, as they like to say on this level. And it's very, very funny. As they're going off on this, trying to get everybody to boycott Disney, you could see just the seething. And here's the thing. How many of these people, I want to ask you this. How many of these people do you think actually watch Jimmy Kimmel who are saying boycott Disney right now? I'm going to guarantee that the answer is zero, because nobody watched Jimmy Kimmel. This is the easiest decision Disney ever had to make, and they were happy to have a reason to get rid of him, because we know that Colbert already had been taken off the air because Paramount Plus and their company there was having problems with it. It wasn't making money. They said it was a financial decision, that the ratings were low. And do you think that's different across the other late night? That's exactly the same copy pasta thing as the Stephen Colbert Show. All these guys have the exact same talking points. They're not funny. They just push these leftist agendas over and over and over again, and then act as a PR piece for Hollywood, to where like the celebrity guests get out there and promote their leftist degenerate movies as it is. That's all it is. There's nothing else to it at this point. So obviously it was an easy decision for them to do. Now, Jack Posobiec actually talked to somebody at Disney and said they only got a few calls about canceling Disney Plus and Hulu over the Jimmy Kimmel. The vast majority of customers do not seem to care because, again, nobody watched Jimmy Kimmel to begin with. And here it is. I'm a customer who's unaffected either way. Life goes on. He was doing a nothing entity at this stage, one commenter says. They likely were waiting for the time to pull him to avoid contract disputes. Let's be careful, though, with these situations, because the left's cancel culture was bad policy 5 years ago, bad policy now. This person's trying to be measured about this, but it's really funny on this. That's because we as conservatives have already boycotted Disney at this. Yes, that's very, very funny. I was ahead of the curve on this, by the way. I got to tell everybody, if you look at this, here it is. Marvel and Star Wars are right-wing right now. Thank you, Disney. Yes. And if you see my comments from 2023, look at this. Only the best family programming in the MCU subscribed to Disney Plus. I was all in on Disney being a right-wing show company back in 2023. I called it before anybody else did. Very, very funny. Obviously, I was being sarcastic at that point because it's hilarious, and we know what they did with Marvel and Star Wars over there. Now, science fiction writer John Scalzi also decided to comment on this. Again, this is probably why it's not being very impactful. John Scalzi says, I wish I could say I was boycotting ABC, but the fact of the matter is I literally cannot remember the last time I actually watched an ABC show over the air. I don't have cable personally, so I never did. But here's the deal. Again, none of these people actually watched Jimmy Kimmel. Like, nobody was watching Jimmy Kimmel. It was a very easy move for them to make on this level, and that's the whole deal. He says, for those of you who know about ABC as part of a larger corporate entity, yes, I'm aware of capitalism. Thank you. And of course, his audience assumes he's stupid because they're all stupid on Blue Sky. And then he continues as he melts down. Don't worry, the fascists will probably keep a couple of liberals around as pets. You can probably guess which ones they'll be. Well, John Scalzi, since you work for Macmillan Publishing, the largest publishing company out there, and you get a multi-million-dollar contract, that's going to be you, bro, on that level. As a matter of disclosure, please remember that I, and many of not most creative folks, have business dealings with one or more corporate entities who are navigating delicately or otherwise the fact of the U.S. government has been taken over by fascists. No, it's not great. And yes, we also have bills. So all of these people who are in corporate entertainment, the people who have been blacklisting conservatives and Christians for decades, we've been axed out of all this stuff, are like, we have bills, please support us. These corporate entities didn't actually love us after they were gloating about this for a long, long time. This is some good schadenfreude right here. Really enjoying these type of meltdowns. And again, it's pretty obvious that like Jimmy Kimmel was going to be out anyway because nobody wants this type of content anymore. Nobody's interested in this. All the boomers who even watched late night, they went away with David Letterman and Jay Leno because these guys are just poor replacements for them even as it was going on. All right, guys, please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment. Were you watching Jimmy Kimmel? Let me know. Let me know what you think about this. This is my Fandom Pulse Substack. I am a journalist in addition to what I do here, and I've been one for a long time. I've written for The Federalist, for Milo Yiannopoulos, and also PJ Media. I was working for an entertainment site called Bounding Into Comics, and they were censoring my articles. In fact, I was trying to find an old article this morning about Antifa in the comic book industry, which I'll be covering on my comic book channel, and it was gone. They took it down. They've removed it from their website because they didn't want that political content against leftists on their website. So we started Fandom Pulse here as a free speech alternative to where we can actually state our right-wing opinions. We have no advertising, so it's just people like you who read and sign up and support us. Please get on here. It's in the description below. We have like 8 to 10 articles a day, so there's a lot more than I can cover here on the YouTube channel, and I appreciate you being here. Substack's the future. It's very, very important to get on here. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be back.